Hello, and welcome to Learn HTML on Codecademy. This is the Common Elements section, Lesson 11, Linking Out. And it says, you're off to a great start. So far you've learned how to add headings, paragraphs, lists, images, and videos to a web page. We wouldn't be taking advantage of the full power of HTML and the internet, however, if we didn't link to other web pages. You can add links to a web page by adding an anchor element or an A tag and including the text of the link in between the opening and closing tags. So this is an anchor tag. This is a link to Wikipedia. Wait a minute. Technically, the link in the example above is incomplete. How exactly is the link above supposed to work if there is no URL that will lead users to the actual Wikipedia page? The anchor element in the example above is incomplete without the href attribute. This attribute stands for Hyperlink Reference and is used to link to a file path or the address to where a file is located, whether it is on your computer or another location. So here we have an anchor tag with our hyperlink reference set to www.wikipedia.org, and the link will say this is a link to Wikipedia. In the example above, the href attribute has been set to the value of the URL, wikipedia.org. The example now shows the correct use of an anchor element. Note, when reading technical documentation, you may come across the term hyperlink. Not to worry, this is simply the technical term for link. These terms are often used interchangeably. Instructions. 1. After the first paragraph, right above the heading that says species, add a link that says learn more. Don't add the URL just yet. So if we come here, after the first paragraph, so if we look here, here's the first paragraph, and it ends. So after the first paragraph would be here, right above the heading that says species, which is here, add a link that says learn more. So under it, I come under and I add an anchor tag. It says don't add the href just yet. So we'll just say learn more and the A tag. So we should get this hyperlink right above species. So here, let us run this. We do get our learn more, but as you guys can see, it's not clickable or anything yet. And that's because we have not added our href. So add the following URL to the link. We copy this. We go inside of our A tag. We add an href equals quotes and paste. So we do have our A tag with our href that has the link, and then we have learn more. So now if I was to run this, we now see learn more has a link. And if we were to click it, open a new tab, and then go to it, it opens up Wikipedia's Brown Bear page. So let us go back. That was linking out. Let us go to the next one. This lesson, linking at will. You've probably visited websites where not all links were made up of text. Maybe the links you clicked on were images or some other form of content. So far, we've added links that were made up of only text, like the following. We have an anchor tag with an href of Wikipedia. We have target underscore blank, and it says prickly pear. This target is actually to open on a new screen. Text-only links, however, would significantly decrease your flexibility as a web developer. Thankfully, HTML allows you to turn nearly any element into a link by wrapping that element with an anchor tag. With this technique, it's possible to turn images into links by simply wrapping the image element with an A element. So we have our A tag, and it's wrapping around our image tag here. So as long as we put our anchor tag around our image, then we'll be able to click on the image as a link. In the example above, an image of a prickly pear has been turned into a link by wrapping the outside of the image element with an anchor element. In index.html, transform the image on your page into a link by wrapping the image element with an anchor element. Set the target attribute so that the link opens in a new window. Use the same URL as before. So they want us to transform our image. So if I go here, where's our image at? So we have an image here, and if we wrap it in anchor tags, like so, with anchor tag with an href equal to our Wikipedia, the image tag ends here, so we want it on the other side of this image tag. So we add our closing, we want it to close there. So we have our A tag, which goes from there to there. Inside of our A tag, we have an image tag. So as long as this wraps around our image, this anchor tag with this link, then when we run this, we should be able to, when we go to our image, we get this clickable link. That should also take us to that same brown bear page. So let's go next here. Now we're in new page. And it says, have you ever clicked on a link and observed the resulting web page open in a new browser window? If so, you can thank the A tag element's target attribute. The target attribute specifies that a link should open in a new window. Why is it beneficial to open links in a new window? It's possible that one or more links on your web page link to an entirely different website. In that case, you may want users to read the linked website, but hope that they return to your web page. This is exactly when the target attribute is useful. For a link to open in a new window, the target attribute requires a value of _blank. The target attribute can be added directly to the opening tag of the anchor element, just like the href attribute. So we have our href, and then after the href, we have our target attribute set to _blank, which will let us open a new window when the link is clicked. In the example above, setting the target attribute to _blank instructs the browser to open the relevant Wikipedia page in a new window. Note, in this exercise, we've used the terminology open in a new window. It's highly likely that you're using a modern browser that opens up websites in new tabs rather than new windows. Before the advent of browsers with tabs, additional browser windows had to be opened to view more websites. The target attribute, when used in modern browsers, will open new websites in a new tab. 1. Instructions. In the link that reads Learn More, add a target attribute and set it equal to blank. Easy enough. We go to our Learn More here and adding a target attribute and setting it equal to _blank. So we go here. So after href, doesn't matter where you put it though, when we put target equals _blank. So we go ahead and run this now. So in the target that says learn more, let's go back to it. So it might be yelling at me for the quote marks I use. Let's do double. Let's try one more time. So we did pass that one. Now if I click this, it opens a new page and it leaves this tab open. So that was linking to a new page or new tab. Let us go next. So this is relative. Thus far you have learned how to link to external web pages. Many sites also link to internal web pages like home, about, and contact. Before we learn how to link between internal pages, let's establish where our files are stored when making multi-page static websites. Web developers often store HTML files in the root directory or a main folder where all the files for the project are stored. As the size of the projects you create grows, you may use additional folders within the main project folder to organize your code. So these are 3 example files. We have an about HTML, contact, and an index HTML. The example above shows 3 different files, about, contact, and index in one folder. If the browser is currently displaying index.html, it knows that about.html and contact.html are in the same folder as index.html, also referred to as the current folder. Since the browser knows the current folder, other files in the folder can be linked using a relative path. A relative path is a file name that shows the path to a local file, a file on the same website such as index.html, versus an absolute path, a full URL like www.codecademy.com/learn/Ruby, which is stored in a different folder. The // in ./index.html tells the browser to look for the file in the current folder. So again, this is a relative path because it is stored in a local file versus an absolute path like a full URL, which is stored in a different folder. So here's our example. This would be a relative path. This would look in the current folder of the page we're on for contact.html and will link to that page. In this example, the anchor tag is used with a relative path to link from the current HTML file to the contact HTML file in the same folder. On the web page, contact will appear as a link. Directly below the opening body tag, add an anchor tag that links to index.html with a relative path. The link should say brown bear. So directly below the opening body tag, which is here, directly below it, add an anchor tag that links to index.html. So we would do an anchor tag with a relative path. So if it's in the same folder, we would do ./index.html. Close it. We want it to say brown bear and then close anchor tag. So this should link to the relative file index.html, which is in the same folder. So now if I run, we do pass and we do get this brown bear link at the very top. Second, under the link to index.html, add an anchor tag that links to about me HTML using a relative path. The link should say about me. So we go back, we go under this a tag, add an anchor tag that links to the about me using a relative path, about me.html, and then we close it and make it say about me. So if we zoom out and then run this, so now we get brown bear and about me, two links up here at the top of our page. Let's go next. Same page. At this point, we have all the content we want on our page. Since we have so much content, it doesn't all fit on the screen. How do we make it easier for a user to jump to different portions of our page? When users visit our site, we want them to be able to click a link and have the page automatically scroll to a specific section. In order to link to a target on the same page, we must give the target an ID like this. So we have a paragraph tag with an ID of top. This is the top of the page. Then we have an H1 with an ID of bottom. Says this is the bottom of the page. In this example, the paragraph element contains ID of top and the H1 element contains ID of bottom. An ID can be added to most elements on a web page. An ID should be descriptive to make it easier to remember the purpose of a link. The target link is a string containing the hash character and the target element ID. So we have an unordered list with two list items that are both links, one to the top, one to the bottom. In the example above, the links to paragraph with ID top and heading 1 with ID bottom are embedded in an ordered list. These links appear in the browser as a numbered list of links. This is why we have been adding IDs to our divs all along. Under the H1 element that says brown bear, create an unordered list with the following 3 items. So let's go under the brown bear. We're going to create an unordered list. Inside of it, we want 3 list items: introduction, habitat, and media. So let's try this. Run it. Now we get our 3 list items. Second says wrap the text of each list item in the unordered list in an anchor tag element. Each anchor tag should link to the corresponding div on the page. The A element that contains the text introduction links to introduction. So each of these should have an anchor tag. Okay, so each anchor tag should link to the corresponding div on the page. So this div here has an ID of introduction. So when they click introduction, we want it to link to this div that says introduction by doing href equals, and then the ID, and they did it this way, hashtag, then the ID, so we can do hashtag introduction, and then make it a little easier to read. So inside of habitat, we do href equals, and then it should also be called ID habitat, and then ID media. So here we would just do habitat, and down here, oops, I put it in the wrong place. We want this inside the anchor tag, and then here in this anchor tag we also want media. So now let's zoom out of here, run this. So now if we were to click on media, it should take us down to where it says media. So make sure to wrap just the text of each li. So what it seems is that if I go back, they only want the text to be wrapped. So what we did wrong here is instead of it being around the li, they want it to be inside the li. So let's do this real quick. Let's put everything in one line. We'll take this and put it inside of, if you guys can see now, we have our unordered list, then we have our first li, and inside of our li we have an anchor tag that wraps around the word introduction and will make it clickable. And the anchor tag is inside of the list item. So same thing with this one. And inside of our list item, we want to do anchor href equals habitat, close it, and then we just erase this closing tag and add it here. And then last for media, we just want to copy that, cut it, paste it there, take this, and at the end of media, add that anchor. So now we should pass, and it's still not. Did you open the A tag before media and close it after media? I'm missing the hash. Now it works. Run this. Now we get the bottom one to pass. Now we can go next. We have our 3 links. Now if I hit media, it goes down to the bottom. If I hit habitat, it should go to the habitat section here. Introduction, it won't really move us. Oh, it does. It goes to the div that says introduction, is where it's about brown bears. So now that's working. Let's go next. Navigation. In the previous 2 exercises, you added numerous links to your page that allow a user to navigate content on the same page to other web pages on the same website or to external websites. Linking to elements on the same page or to other pages on the same site is called navigation. HTML has a special tag called nav that is used to wrap these links in order to organize the content on your web page. Some of the tags we have used, such as div, are called non-semantic tags. This means that they do not describe the content that is inside of them. However, many tags are used to describe the content that they surround, which helps us modify and style our content later. These are called semantic tags, and nav is one of them. So add an opening tag before the link that says brown bear. So the link that says brown bear is here. So add an opening nav here, and add a closing nav after the link that says about me. Let us run this. So as you see, nothing changed, but it did surround our 2 links here. with a nav tag. Put an opening nav tag above the UL listing the sections of the web page. Put a closing nav tag below the closing UL. So next we go to our UL here, add another nav, and then where it closes we add another nav. Now we could indent this. Okay, let's run this now. Now both are surrounded with the nav. Let's click next. So congratulations, we've completed Learn HTML Element and Structure. Last lesson, HTML tags. While some tags have a very specific purpose, such as image and video tags, most tags are used to describe the content that they surround, which helps us modify and style our content later. There are seemingly infinite number of tags to use, many more than we thought. Knowing when to use each one is based on how you want to describe the content of your HTML. Descriptive, well-chosen tags are one key to high-quality web development. A full list of available HTML tags can be found here. You now know all the basic elements you need to structure an HTML page and add different types of content. Very soon you'll be creating beautiful websites. Let's review what you've learned in this lesson. 1. Headings and subheadings, which range from H1 to H6. Tags are used to enlarge text. P tags, span tags, and div tags specify text or blocks. The emphasis and strong tags are used to emphasize text. Line breaks are created with the break tag. Ordered lists are OL tags, which are numbered, and unordered lists are bulleted. Images and videos can be added by linking to an existing source. Anchor tags are used to link to internal pages, external pages, or content on the same page. You can create sections on a web page and jump to them using anchor tags and adding IDs to the elements you wish to jump to. The nav element contains links to internal pages or content. So that pretty much wraps up Learn HTML. We've learned a lot of the fundamentals that allow us to structure a web page. As you guys can see, it still has no styling, which has more to do with CSS than with structure of a page. You have learned the fundamentals. As of now, continue practicing to allow key concepts to stick. Once you have gotten comfortable enough, take a look at some CSS videos. I have plenty of playlists that you can go through to begin learning styling. I'll see you guys then.